Hey everyone, it's Julian Gordon, and welcome back to the Build Momentum 28-Day Challenge. Today we're going to talk about how to gather all of the elements of your best year yet. We're going to take all the various ingredients of the things that make you happy, and we're going to weave them together into a meal that is actually enjoyable for you to partake in and for others to actually join you in. And so this is what this module is really all about, because I'm really committed to helping you experience more happy hours. And happy hours aren't the thing that you go to after work to get away from work or where people are actually unhappy. Happy hours are these moments in your life that actually bring you more joy. And if you looked at life and measured your success in life based on how many happy hours you had experienced, it would change the way you actually approach life. And there are people who are 90 years old who have had less happy hours than some people who are 30 years old, right? Because it's a different way of measuring. The person who's 90 may have more assets and more money, and I know we just talked about that in the last module, but if they didn't have these experiences that actually brought them joy, then all that money means nothing. You can't take it with you when you go. And so we want to start measuring and actually creating happy hours in our lives. Sometimes happy hours come to us. Other times we actually have to be intentional about them and actually create them. And so the way to do that is really by prioritization. I want to share with you a quick story that I heard that has really put prioritization in perspective for me. One day, this business professor came to his class to teach, and he had a mayonnaise jar on the desk. And he just starts speaking. And first and foremost, he puts these big boulders that are about palm size into the mayonnaise jar. And he looks to the class and says, "Is the jar full?" And they look to him and respond, "Yeah, it's full." And he says, "Are you sure?" He said, "Yeah, it's full." And so he reaches under his desk and he pulls out these smaller rocks. And he starts pouring the smaller rocks into the crevices between the larger rocks. And he asks, "Is the jar full now?" And they look at him and they smile and they say, "Yeah, it's full now." And so he reaches back under the desk again and he pulls out a bag of sand. And he starts pouring the sand into the jar. And then he asks, "Is the jar full?" And they're like, yeah, you got us, okay? The jar is full. Now, he could have went under the desk and started to pull out some water and even filled in more space. But that wasn't the point, right? And here's what this is really all about. He said that the large rocks in our lives, they are the things that are most important to us. Our family, our health. Because without them, life goes pretty bad pretty quickly, right? Then there are the medium-sized rocks. There's our education, there are our friends, there are our car note, our home, and things of that nature. You lose some of those, they come and they go, but you're still there, you're still present, right? And then there's the minutia, which is the sand. Minutia are emails, text messages, social media, things that at the end of the day won't matter at all. And why this is so important is because if you actually start and design your life in such a way where you put the sand in first, right? The small stuff, the minutia. And then you put the medium things in, the people that don't really matter, the job, the car note, the house, right? And then you try to put the most important things, the big rocks, your family, right? Your health. You try to put those in last, they don't fit in the jar. But if you actually start with the big rocks first, you put the most important things first, and then you put in the medium-sized rocks after that, and then you let the minutia fill in the rest of the space, it all fits into the jar. So this jar is a container that actually represents our life. And so one student says, "So what's the moral of the story? No matter how full your life appears to be, if you try hard enough, you can always fit more into it." That is not the moral of the story at all. The moral of the story is to put first things first. We have to put first things first. And what I'm inviting you to do is actually put your happiness first, to actually put more happy hours into your life first, and then let life fill in the rest. A lot of people move through life and they say, "Oh, life happened, so I didn't get to it this year." What I'm inviting you to do is actually say, "No, this is what I want out of life." And then when those unexpected things occur, they're just filling in the space around what it is that you already put into place. So I've studied happiness, and I've done some surveys of our community to find out what are the actual ingredients of happiness, and I found out these 6 things. The first ingredient is around relationships, new relationships, rekindling old relationships, quality time with family and friends, and love and romance. That's the relationship category. The second category was renewal. This is really taking care of self and me time and my health, going to the doctor, doing yoga, meditating, things of that nature. And a lot of people skip out on that. There's, "Oh, I'll figure that stuff out later," right? And some of us are just people pleasers, so we please everybody else, but we never take time to take care of ourselves, and we have to replenish ourselves. If we're the pouring into other people and nobody's pouring into us, eventually we end up empty. So renewal is really important. Sleep is also fits there. Getting good sleep. And the third one is recreation. This is fun, travel, exploring, entertainment, food, fashion. Right? This is recreation. And then 4 is reciprocity. This is giving and receiving gifts. Not just moving through this life trying to acquire and hoard and have more, but it's actually giving and receiving gifts. Creating something for others, whether it's a meal, right, or an experience for somebody. Creating your partner's birthday party and making it a real special occasion. Using your gifts in the world, not just physical gifts, but using the actual God-given gifts that you have. And also connecting with nature, seeing how this space that we're in is actually a give and take relationship. Right? We have to give to it. We can't just abuse it and take and expect it to continue giving to us. And starting to understand that by being in nature more and seeing the reciprocity that occurs there. 5th is reimagining. I found through your answers that people's anticipation of good or new beginnings alone made them happier. Right? Planning for the future, seeing something better than what currently is. The anticipation alone brought joy and happiness, right? So if you had a big event that's coming up, or a surprise that was coming up, or a birthday that was coming up, just the anticipation of that day and of that moment can bring you joy, in addition to that moment actually bringing you joy. And then finally is recognition. And this is gratitude. Seeing that not just moving through life checking off boxes, but taking a moment to recognize all that you do have. Not starting with a mindset of scarcity and what you don't have, but starting with what you do have. Being appreciative of the things that are happening for you that didn't have to happen, right? You don't know how this person came to your life, how this opportunity or this door opened for you. And taking a moment to just be appreciative and recognize that there are things that are happening in this world for me that weren't due to my effort. That just happened to me just because. And I don't know why, but I'm actually grateful for it. Right? So this is a powerful category. And, my bank account fits into this category. So these are some of the ingredients of happiness. And so what we want to do is we want to design a year where we have as many of these ingredients in our year as possible. And so what I want you to do is turn to this page, which is your bucket list. And in your bucket list, there are 16 buckets where I want you to think about the experiences that you want to have, the boxes that you do want to check off. Yes, these are boxes, and I know I've talked bad about boxes, but the things that you actually want to do this year that fit into those 6 categories using these 16 categories. So the first around renewal, right, is self-care, right? So for me, I have all day at the movies. I just want to go to the movies one day and watch 3 movies, right? Go there, catch the matinee, and just watch movies all day. Then float tank. If you've never done a float tank, I encourage you to try it. It's an interesting experience, but it was a very relaxing one for me. Doing a silent retreat. Building something with wood, right? I built a planter outside of my house. It was like a full day project. I love building things, and so these are me days. Also connected to renewal are your health appointments, dentist, doctor, physical, going to the podiatrist, whatever it is that you need where you're feeling ache or pain in your body. Relationships, right? Ideas for or with my love. Broadway shows, jazz, dancing, really celebrating our anniversary, not just letting it come and then trying to figure out something the night before, but really celebrating it. Ideas for with family, again, the relationship category. Taking Jada to the kids amusement park in Central Park. Puppet shows, Universal Soul Circus, doing apple picking. I have to be intentional about that, because if I don't mark that down as look up apple picking in August, then it slips and it's gone because it's a season, right? Then there are trips, right? This is kind of in the recreation category. Thailand, I want to go to Thailand. South America, my wife and I love New Orleans. She wants to go to Las Vegas for some reason. So these are some trips. There's other types of trips, which are weekend road trips where you don't have to get on a plane. This is Montreal, Washington, D.C., or Annapolis, Boston, or I think it's, I keep pronouncing it wrong, it's Gloucester. I don't think that's right. That's the wrong way to say it. So somebody educate me on the right way. Then there's going to Philly. Then things in my city. Day in Harlem, trip to Central Park, museums. So these are some things to consider in these categories. And then, like I said, you have to sometimes create more happy hours. So there could be events that I'm hosting. I'm going to do 6 potlucks this year, a couples comedy night. I've done that before, and that was an amazing experience. Of course, I have my New Year event, and then I have my Entrepreneur Year Plan live event. Then again, in the recreation and fun and entertainment, there's concerts and shows that I want to see. I want to see Kendrick Lamar live. I want to see Jaden live. I want to see Hamilton. I don't know how, so I'm gonna have to wait on a miracle for that one. I want to see the Blue Man Group. Then there's my personal development and education, which are conferences and classes that I want to go to. The Frank Curran Inner Circle San Diego event, the Agape Conference. Then there's volunteering, the way I want to give. This fits in the reciprocity category. I want to give to build, right? Thanksgiving, I want to volunteer somewhere and give out plates of food. I want to volunteer for Celebration Spiritual Center. So these are some things in that vein. And then birthdays and weddings. Again, this is the reciprocity and the giving. I want to really celebrate Pam and Jada on their birthdays. I want to celebrate my mom on her birthday. I want to celebrate my best friend on his birthday. And I want to celebrate my birthday. Then there's some things I missed last year. The Stevie Wonder party. My wife and I love to dance. That would be in the fun and recreation category. The Brownstone tour. I keep missing that one, and I want to see it. I didn't even see a flyer for it this year, but I want to see inside some beautiful brownstones. And then there's some restaurants that my wife and I want to go to. I want to attend Lawrence's Black Family Dinners. Afalacha in New Orleans. If you haven't been there, it's one of our favorite places. We go to a brilliant Brazilian steakhouse like once a year just to partake in abundance, right? And see what abundance feels like, and to be served at that level. So we like to do that experience. And then my little brother works at the Roxy, so we want to go eat there and experience some live jazz because my wife loves jazz. And then there's some other experiences that don't necessarily fit in any of these categories, like I want to see Warriors or Cavs game in New York City. I want to play intramural basketball, take care of my body. I told you I like to play through, I like to exercise through play. And then I want to celebrate Mother's Day. I want to celebrate my mom on Mother's Day. And so this is my bucket list. And if I integrate these things into my year, if I anchor them into my year, it's going to be a pretty amazing year. And so you want to start with this bucket list. And then in the next video, we're going to start to map this out on a 12-month calendar so it doesn't feel overwhelming. And so that's the next step. But for now, I want you just to go through this worksheet and fill out as many things as you can in each of these 16 categories, keeping in mind the 6 different ways that are 6 different ingredients of happiness, which are relationships, renewal, recreation, reciprocity, reimagining, and recognition. All right. So go ahead, come back to this worksheet, fill it in as detailed as possible. You can repeat experiences from the previous year. If it was an amazing experience that you want to have again, that's perfectly fine. All right. So I will see you in the next video. I hope this has helped you, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.